In a world sculpted by ice and stone, long before the first cities rose, humanity's story began. This was a realm of giants, where mammoths roamed vast, frozen plains and saber-toothed cats prowled ancient forests. Our ancestors, the cavemen, navigated this harsh and unforgiving landscape. Their lives were a constant rhythm of survival, dictated by the rising sun and the encroaching cold. Their homes were not houses, but natural shelters carved into rock, offering refuge from biting winds and lurking predators. Every day was a testament to their resilience, a struggle for warmth, food, and safety in a world that offered little of either. This is the story of how they endured, how they persevered against all odds, and ultimately, how they laid the very foundations for the world we know today. Without the convenience of modern technology, survival was an art form, mastered through generations of trial and error. Every resource was precious, every skill vital. You would see them gathering fallen branches, not just for fuel, but for crafting the tools that were extensions of their will. A piece of flint, carefully knapped and sharpened, became a knife for butchering a kill or a spearhead for the next hunt. Cooperation was not a choice, but a necessity. The group worked as one, a single organism focused on a common goal. Some would gather berries and roots, testing each for safety, while others would smoke and dry meat, preserving it for the lean times that were sure to come. Their ingenuity was their greatest weapon against a world that was constantly testing their limits. As relentless winds swept across the tundra, the quest for warmth was paramount. The cold was a persistent enemy, one that could sap strength and claim lives in the quiet of the night. To combat it, our ancestors became masters of insulation. The hides of hunted animals, painstakingly scraped and prepared, were fashioned into crude but effective clothing, wrapping their bodies in a vital layer of protection. Fire was the heart of their world, a crackling beacon of life in the darkness. They built their fires in pits, surrounded by stones that would absorb and radiate heat long after the flames died down. At the mouths of their caves, they would strategically pile large rocks, creating a barrier to block the chilling drafts and seal in the precious, life-sustaining warmth. When night fell, the struggle for warmth intensified. The deep, penetrating cold of the prehistoric night was a constant threat. The central fire, carefully tended, was their primary shield. Families would huddle close to its flickering light, its heat a comforting presence against the vast dark emptiness outside. But the fire alone was not always enough. They gathered what they could from the natural world to create bedding. Layers of soft moss, dried grasses, and broad leaves formed a rudimentary mattress, insulating them from the cold stone floor. Over these, they would lay thick animal skins, the same furs that clothed them by day serving as blankets by night. Often, they would sleep close together, sharing body heat in a communal effort to survive until morning. The cave was more than just a shelter. It was a sanctuary, a place of rest and recovery after the day's hard-won survival. As darkness enveloped the world, the clan would retreat into these deep, stony wombs. The ground, which was hard and unforgiving by day, was transformed into a place of comfort. They would spend time preparing their sleeping areas, gathering fresh armfuls of dry leaves, soft mosses, and tall grasses. This bedding created a soft, insulated cushion that cradled them as they slept. These nightly routines, simple yet essential, provided a sense of security and stability. Here, in the heart of the earth, protected from the elements and predators, they could finally allow their bodies and minds to rest, to dream, and to gather strength for the challenges of a new dawn. The world of our ancestors was not a silent one. Long before complex languages developed, communication was raw, guttural, and deeply expressive. The sounds they made were born from the immediate needs of their environment. A sharp, loud grunt could signal danger, alerting the clan to a predator lurking nearby. A softer, more melodic hum might be used to soothe a child or express contentment around the fire. Their vocalizations were a direct reflection of their emotions and intentions. Deep, resonant calls echoing through the valleys to locate one another, or a series of clicks and pops to coordinate movements during a hunt. Hand gestures and body language filled in the gaps, a physical vocabulary that conveyed complex ideas like direction, quantity, or the size of an animal, painting a vivid picture without a single word as we know them. Hunting in the Pleistocene was an epic undertaking, a life-or-death ballet between man and beast. The prey was immense woolly mammoths with colossal tusks, giant bison, and powerful cave bears. A lone hunter stood no chance. Success depended entirely on teamwork, strategy, and immense courage. The hunt began days before the first spear was thrown, with experienced trackers following subtle signs, a broken twig, a faint footprint in the mud. They would plan their ambush, using the landscape to their advantage, driving the massive creature towards a cliff or into a pre-dug pit. Then, with coordinated precision, they would strike. Spears, tipped with razor-sharp stone, were thrown with all their might. It was a dangerous, chaotic, and brutal dance, but the reward meat, hide, and bone meant survival for the entire clan. The creation of fire was perhaps humanity's greatest early achievement, a moment of pure magic that forever changed our destiny. It was a skill passed down through generations, a sacred knowledge. Imagine the patience required. One method involved a wooden spindle, spun rapidly back and forth against a fireboard. The friction would generate intense heat, creating a fine black powder that would begin to smolder. A gentle breath of air, a nurturing hand, would coax this tiny ember into life. Another method involved striking flint against a piece of iron pyrite, sending a shower of sparks onto a tender bundle of dried grass and fungus. The moment the tinder caught, a tiny flame erupting from nothing, was a moment of triumph, pushing back the darkness and the cold and securing their place in the world. Communication was the glue that held their societies together. Without written words, they relied on a rich tapestry of other signals. Hand signs were a silent language, essential for coordinating a stealthy hunt or communicating across a distance without alerting prey. A flat hand might mean stop, while a pointing finger indicated direction. Facial expressions were a universal language, conveying fear, joy, anger, or curiosity in a way everyone could understand. Their spoken language was likely composed of simple, short words for important concepts: water, fire, mammoth, danger. These words, combined with intonation and gesture, allowed for surprisingly complex exchanges, enabling them to share knowledge, plan for the future, and strengthen the social bonds that were so crucial for their collective survival. Against the overwhelming power of the last ice age, our ancestors did not just survive, they adapted and thrived. As glaciers advanced, they migrated, following the herds and seeking out new sheltered valleys. Their teamwork became more sophisticated, their shelters more advanced. But perhaps their most surprising advantage was the quality of their sleep. In a world without artificial light, their sleep cycles were perfectly attuned to the natural rhythm of day and night. The complete and total darkness of the cave environment, combined with the sounds of nature, induced a deep, restorative sleep that we can only imagine. It was in these deep slumbers that their bodies healed, their minds processed the day, and they built the resilience to face the dawn. They were the ultimate survivors, a testament to human ingenuity and endurance. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into our incredible past.